The morning sun lit up the perfectly trimmed lawn as Karen Mitchell stepped onto her porch, a brown package hugged to her chest like she'd just won a prize. She threw a smug glance in my direction, her newest neighbor, and strutted back into her pristine colonial-style home. Another so-called threat to the purity of her neighborhood neutralized, no doubt. That was Karen for you. Head of the Willowbrook HOA and self-appointed guardian of community perfection. Inside, I imagined her placing the package on her lace-covered dining table, grabbing a pair of scissors, and preparing to dissect whatever she'd seized. Probably expecting fireworks or contraband, something she could write up in her little HOA reports. But what she got instead must have knocked the wind out of her. Folded neatly inside was a navy blue police uniform, and wrapped securely beneath it, my active duty badge, clean, precise, engraved with my name. Detective Marcus Chun. Badge number 4739. Metro Police Department. I'd only just moved to Willowbrook a week ago, transferred from downtown after years in the city. This neighborhood had seemed like the perfect place for a new start. Quiet, orderly, and safe enough for my daughter to visit. I hadn't minded the massive HOA welcome packet. I figured lawn rules and mailbox colors were a small price to pay for a sense of peace. My official uniform was scheduled to arrive that Tuesday morning, rushed by the department, so I'd be ready for my new post that Thursday. At 9:47 a.m., a buzz from my phone confirmed the package had arrived. I was organizing the garage, so I figured I'd grab it in a few minutes. But when I stepped onto the porch 20 minutes later, there was nothing. No package. No delivery slip. Just a hollow silence. My first instinct was that the driver must have dropped it at the wrong house. After all, the homes here were carbon copies of each other. I checked the delivery app. The proof photo showed it right there on my doormat at 9:47, exactly as the alert said. Something didn't sit right. 2 decades on the job had trained me to listen when my gut whispered warnings. And right then it was screaming. I turned my gaze toward Karen's house. Her blinds shifted slightly, and I caught a glimpse of her eye, just before the slats snapped shut. We'd met once. She showed up the morning after I moved in, balancing a fruit basket in one hand and a handful of HOA violations in the other. My moving truck had blocked the sidewalk for 15 minutes. My trash cans were improperly placed. And apparently, I had inherited illegal rose bushes. She smiled like it hurt her face and said, "Welcome to Willowbrook. I'm Karen Mitchell, HOA president. We keep things orderly around here. You'll appreciate that, I'm sure. What did you say you do for work again?" I hadn't said anything. Just thanked her for the fruit and promised to read the regulations. Something about her probing eyes had made me keep my badge to myself. Back in the present, staring at the empty porch, I opened my doorbell camera app. The feed loaded slow, but when it finally played, every second of it confirmed my suspicion. At 9:47 a.m., the driver placed the package on my welcome mat and snapped a photo. At 9:49, Karen emerged from her house, glancing up and down the street like she was about to commit a felony. By 9:50, she crossed over, her steps fast and sharp. At 9:51, she snatched my package and returned to her fortress. I saved the footage. Anger simmered just beneath the surface, but I kept my cool. 20 years as a detective had taught me not to act on impulse, especially not with evidence on my side. Marching over there would only give her time to make up excuses, claim it was for safety, or worse, get rid of the badge. Instead, I made a call. "Hey Sarge, we've got a problem. My uniform shipment got stolen, including my active badge." There was a pause. "Are you telling me someone's in possession of your credentials?" "Yes, sir. And I've got it all on video. Neighbor took it off my porch." His voice hardened immediately. "Do not confront her. That's a federal offense. Internal Affairs needs to handle this. Stay put." Within the hour, 2 IA detectives were at my door, Rodriguez and Kim. Not from my new precinct, but serious, no-nonsense professionals. "Let's see the footage," Rodriguez said. I played it for them. 3 times. They zoomed in, took screenshots, examined every detail. "She opened a federal delivery addressed to a law enforcement officer," Kim said, scribbling notes. "And she's in possession of an active badge. That's not just theft. That's impersonation risk, obstruction, possibly more." I didn't need to say anything. I'd let the law do what it was meant to. And Karen Mitchell was about to find out what happens when you steal from a cop. Trouble had been brewing for a while. Has she said anything to you since she took it? Rodriguez asked. No, not directly, I replied. But I've seen her making rounds, chatting up the neighbors like she's running for office. Very animated. Something's up. Rodriguez and Kim exchanged a quick look. We'll have to move fast, before she has a chance to destroy anything. We're getting the warrant. Until then, act normal. Don't let on. The following morning, as I watered my front lawn, Karen finally made her move. She strutted across the street, clipboard clutched like a badge of honor, chin held high. Mr. Chun, she said, mispronouncing my name on purpose. We've had several complaints. Odd package deliveries. Unfamiliar visitors. As the HOA president, I need to know what kind of operation you're running here. I kept my tone easy, smile polite. Just moved in. Starting a new job soon. She scribbled something on her clipboard. Well, we take property values very seriously. We can't have just anyone turning this neighborhood into, well, you know. I appreciate your concern, I said, gently spraying the rose bushes. She turned and marched off, no doubt heading straight to update her little ring of neighborhood watchers. What she didn't notice was the black Suburban that had been idling down the block for over an hour, or the unmarked sedan passing by at 20-minute intervals. Internal Affairs had been building their case, and Rodriguez had recently messaged me. This wasn't Karen's first time tampering with packages. Multiple residents had complained over the last year, missing medications, gifts, personal items, but nothing had ever been proven. The next afternoon, I was on the porch with a coffee in hand when it all unfolded. The Suburban pulled right into her driveway. 2 men in suits exited, followed by a pair of uniformed officers. They moved with the kind of efficiency that meant this wasn't a courtesy call. Karen answered the door in her trademark outfit, HOA polo and crisp khakis. Even from across the street, I saw her posture shift in seconds. From self-important to confused to utterly panicked. Karen Mitchell, the lead agent said, his voice carrying down the quiet street. Agent Rodriguez, Internal Affairs. We have a warrant to search your home for stolen federal property. This is absurd, she barked. I'm the HOA president. I was only trying to protect the community from suspicious packages. You removed mail from someone else's porch, Rodriguez said calmly. That's a federal offense. I was going to report it, she cut in. As soon as I saw what was in the box, I planned to call the authorities. That's when Rodriguez's partner stepped out of her house holding an evidence bag. My uniform. My badge. Found them in the hallway closet, he said. All credentials intact. Rodriguez turned back to her. You're under arrest for mail theft, possession of stolen federal property, and impersonation of a law enforcement officer. As he cuffed her and read her rights, the neighborhood began to emerge. Phones were raised. Gasps echoed. Karen's face flushed red, then pale, then red again. This is entrapment, she yelled. He's not even a real officer. He set me up. I was doing this for you. Mrs. Patterson, 2 doors down, didn't miss a beat. Is that why my daughter's anniversary present never arrived? She called out. Were you protecting me from that too, Karen? As the police cruiser drove off with Karen in the back seat, more neighbors began to share their stories. Prescription meds that vanished. Birthday packages that never showed up. All of them had been reported to Karen, who promised to investigate but never turned up anything. 3 weeks later, I was manning the grill when Mrs. Patterson stopped by with a plate of cookies. Heard the latest? She asked, placing the plate on my patio table. No, I said, flipping a burger. Federal prosecutors came down hard, mail theft, identity fraud since she opened your documents, and theft of government property. Her lawyer says she could face 5 years and $250,000 in fines. I let out a low whistle. She's out as HOA president, by the way. Emergency vote. Unanimous. First time in 15 years. She tried to run the meeting, can you believe that? When they told her she couldn't preside over her own removal, she fainted. Ambulance and all. Paramedics said it was just shock. She smiled and headed home. I went back to grilling, but the atmosphere had shifted. Kids played in the street without being chased off for lowering property values. Holiday lights popped up on porches, unbothered by HOA rules. The whole neighborhood just felt lighter. 6 months later, Karen's trial made the local news. She was found guilty on all charges. Her speech about community safety didn't sway the judge. 5 years of probation, a $100,000 fine, 300 hours of community service. The camera caught her face at the moment of the verdict. Eyes wide, mouth frozen, hair wilting under courtroom lights. Reality finally had caught up.